Hello there Linux fans, it's Digital Robin here with another live Linux walkthrough, and today we are going to be looking at Fedora 34. One of the good things about today's release is that the Fedora team have switched over to GNOME 40 or GNOME 40. That's going to be the latest desktop environment going forward. But here on this walkthrough today, I'm going to be looking at the XFCE environment. And the really reason for this basically is to get a sense of what XFCE 4.16 looks like in Fedora. So I have already just loaded and installed this into a virtual machine here. So I'm just going to now log in to the desktop. And here we have Fedora 34 XFCE, which looks like XFCE 4.16. So we can tell straight away that it's 4.16 based on the icons I can see here. Also, we can tell it's Fedora 34 because of this new wallpaper that we've got here. So before we do anything else, the first thing I'm going to do is just adjust my screen resolution here. For some reason the screen has not gone into full 16:9, so I'm just going to adjust that now. Hopefully you can see that a little better now. So I'm just going to check to see which version of XFCE that we have got here. So if I go into, where are we now? I think it's under System and about XFCE. You can see here that we have got the latest 4.16 release, which is great. So what we should be seeing now is changes in the panel setup. So for example, if I go into the panel preferences, we should now be able to, under items, see these add and remove buttons, which used to be down on the right hand side here. They're now moved down into the bottom left here. And it also gives you the option now to edit those. And it's here where you click on add, that as well as adding in the specified ones, you can also, under appearance, do some extra configurations here. And you can now make it into dark mode, which is fantastic. So what Fedora team have done here is they have made this dark mode default. Let's just see what happens when I flick the switch back to normal. And you can see now, yep, that we've gone into normal white mode. So if I click across again, we go into dark mode, which I like very, very much indeed. So that's the panel there. I'm just going to first of all see if we can actually see if the XFCE goodies have been applied into this latest release. So to do that, I'm just going to check for sensors, and we can see that sensors is not available. Let's just see if the weather applet is there. Yeah, the weather applet is there. Let's just see if that is working, because in other 4.16 releases that I'm seeing, the weather applet has been broken. So let's just see if that is working. So has it appeared in the panel? At the moment I can see it has here in the top right hand corner, but I obviously now need to do some configuration to get the locale correct. And there we go, straight away it's showing that Rochester, UK. Let's just check to see that the units are Celsius. Yep, that's great. And under scroll box we just need to apply the temperature. And it's one thing to point out now with XFCE, if you are adding the weather applet going forward in any new installation, you will need to specify what you want to be displayed in the applet. So I'm going to add temperature, and I'm also going to add wind speed, and I'm also going to add wind direction, and I'm also going to pull through humidity, dew point, and what's my I think it's ambient temperature, and what else do I like to see? Cloudiness, and also precipitation. See if there's any rain about. Of course we're going to animate those, and I'm just going to change the appearance to liquid dark and click close. So now you can see just about here in the top right hand corner we have now got the applet working, and we can now see weather data for my region. Right, so just before I go any further, the first thing I do want to do is bring up a terminal, and I'm going to first of all just see if there are any updates available. So we're going to do sudo dnf update. Enter in my password. Oops. And it's checking, and yep, so we do have some updates. So even though this is a fresh install of XFCE 4.16 on the Fedora 34 build here today, we have still got updates to the kernel, network manager, Thunar file manager, the cursor theme, the icon themes, Bluetooth, printer through the CUP servers, Firefox upgrade as well, upgrading that to version 88 of the browser, and we've got hardware data as well, lots of codecs, display drivers under the Mesa driver, mousepad, pipe wire as well. Yes, now this is one of the encouraging things that I want to be able to check out on the latest Fedora release is the use of pipe wire as well. So we'll be checking out some of those in some future streams, but not here today. So given the fact that we are seeing quite a few updates here, what does this update actually package up into? So we've got 20 packages, and we're going to be upgrading 137 of those. Also, there is an update to the Mozilla OpenH264 codec as well, which is great. So that will enable lots of online videos to be able to play correctly there. So we've got 320 megabytes worth of updates to complete here. So we just say yes to that. Is this okay? Yes. I do like how it actually asks you twice, are you okay with this update? Because you can mess up your system. You might accidentally accept an update that you didn't want. But yeah, it's racing through quite nicely now. It's only got a few hundred megabytes to update. So this is now being downloaded. Firefox is currently being updated. And we'll just let this finish through now as it draws to a close as we head towards 157 updates. And there we go, nicely. So now it's going to run the transactions. The check was successful, and now it's running the test. And once it does the test, it will then go through and complete the installation. So from this manual update that I did, you can see here I've got a prompt on first login for 141 updates available. That's the DNF Dragora update. So that is alerting me to some packages that need to be updated. So we'll just let this manual update complete, and then we'll just see if there is anything still outstanding within the Dragora update. Now we're updating to kernel 5.11.15. Okay, so there we have now the installation complete, and we are now fully up to date. So let's just now check on to see if the Firefox web browser has been updated to version 88. So we go into the menu and we go under Internet and Firefox. Now, from what I understood from previous installations of Fedora, they ran the ESR version of the Firefox browser, but it doesn't look like we're getting that now from this version going forward. So version 34 now comes with Firefox 88. It might be, given the fact that the installation ISO itself was put together before today, that the likelihood is that you might get version 87 of the Firefox browser. But fear not, through a system update, you should be getting the latest version 88. So let's just check that actually now is the case. If we go down to the help and about Firefox, you can see now that we are on version 88 of the web browser there. So we are now fully up to date, which is fantastic. Right, one thing I'm noticing through one of the recent updates I just did here to Fedora is that the title bars here within my windows seem to have got smaller. So that indicates that the theming seems to have changed to something like Greybird, I would have thought. So let's just check that now under Settings, and we go into Appearance. And we're in the Adwaita. Okay, that's brilliant. All right. So I like to just now see what the others have got. Oh, what are these? Hello, hello, hello. So, looks like it's brought through some of the themes from Linux Mint as well. I'm a lover of the Mint Y Purple as well, so let's just try Mint Y Dark Purple, and that should go purple. Let's see. Yes, there we go. So I can have my Fedora now looking like, Linux Mint Purple, which is great. Not that I would want that anyhow. But let's do Greybird Dark, which is the default dark theme for XFCE. So let's just do that now. And you can see that's quite nicely, cleanly changed it to that nice dark theme. So let's leave it at that for now. Icons, we've got a great selection of icons here now, so let's just see, we've got all of the Mint ones there, but I'm going to download some more, and you can notice here you've got an add icon here now. So when you actually download from the what is it the XFCE Looks website, I think it is. Let's just see. Thank you, Google. Yep, right, I can. There it is. So xfce-look.org is the website I normally go to get my desktop themes and icons. But if you know through previous installations what icons you want, you can normally install them through the terminal. So in my case here, I'm going to go and do a DNF install, and I am going to install the Papyrus icon theme, and we'll see what comes back. It should allow us to do that. Enter in my password, and we should now see that coming through. Yep, there we go. So that's going to install the Papyrus icon theme now. So I'll just say yes to that, and that is now installing. Wouldn't normally take this long. Maybe there's a process running in the background that's locking some packages down, but we'll wait and see. Anyway, so I've just basically gone through the process of installing the Papyrus icon theme through the terminal. The reason why that's installed with no problems at all is it's a standard theme that you can get across all distributions that run XFCE or anything else that you want to use the Papyrus icon theme there. Teller is another icon theme that I used to like using, but I tend to only use the circle icon theme when I'm looking at distributions that kind of give me a Macintosh look and feel. And speaking of Mac, you can get the Big Sur icon theme here if you want that. But what I'm going to do is just show you that how easy it is to install new themes now through XFCE 4.16. So in this case, I'm just going to do a search for W10 as in Windows 10. We should get some icons come back for Windows. We've got WinLix, which probably means now I actually do physically have to type in Win10. Let's see what comes back. I was just using another XFCE installation the other day with this Wii10X icon theme. Or you can go for the WinSur icon themes, which looks amazing, I think. But if you want to kind of get familiar look and feel to near enough Windows 10, then I would suggest going for this Win10X icon theme. But what I'm going to do here today is just download this Win10 Sur icon theme, which is most popular at the moment. And if I click into that, there we go. So if I click download, now incidentally you're noticing some lag here. That's because I'm doing this demonstration today through a virtual machine. In reality, if you did this on actual hardware, it wouldn't be hanging like this. So I'm going to download the WinSur tar file here, the .tar.xz. So if I click onto that, I'm not sure about valley or black, but that's probably a white and a dark theme, but we'll see. I just want a standard set of icons, so I'm just going to download that now, and I will save that to my downloads folder. Yep, so it's saying what do you want to do now? Do you want to open or save? So I'm going to ask it to save. That's now saved. So what we should now have is this tar file now available for us to extract using the XFCE desktop. So I'm not going to do anything more to that, so let's just minimize that. Come back into the appearance area here, and under icons, let's click now the add icon. And what we'll do now is go and browse to that download. And you can see under my downloads folder, I've got win10sir.tar.xz. So let's just open that file now. And it looks like the icons have now installed. So let's just check that. So because it's the Win10 icons, they'll be listed down the very bottom of the list here. So let me just scroll down to the bottom. And yep, here you can see the Win10 Sir icons have now installed. Excellent. So I'm going to select Win10 Sir Dark because I'm in a dark theme. And you can see here straight away the icons have now changed. So if we have a look at the start menu, yep, we've got sort of Windows icon. Well, in fact, these are the Win10 Sir ones, aren't they? Yeah, I just realised that. So let's get back to the Firefox browser. That's what I closed down, so I need to reopen it again. Oh, there it is. Wonder why that didn't appear just then. Right, so I'm going to now not install the Win10 Sir ones. I'm just coming back a page and I'm going to install the other Win10 icons. So let's do the Win10X icon theme. And you can see we've got Win10 cursors as well. So here we've got the option to also, if you had a look at the list here, you've got links to other themes as well. So if you want a Windows 7 look and feel, you can obviously click through to those links there and get those themes downloaded also. So let's download the actual bucket of Win10 icons. We've got a choice of colors, but I'm just going to go with the standard Win10 for now. And we'll save that. That's now done and in our downloads folder. So if we now go back to the appearance window, so go back into applications, settings and appearance, and we'll go into icons. And if we look at the Win10 selection, we have got now, I saw it a second ago. Oh no, we haven't installed them yet. Clicking add, that does help, Robin. There we are. How did I not realise I'd done that? Okay, so we just wait for those to install, okay? And yep, that's happened. So now we can select Win10X Dark. And we are now away from the Macintosh look and feel of those icons. And if I go, yep, there we go. So they're not sort of rounded square buttons anymore. So that actually does now look nice in this whisker menu here now. In fact, this is the brisk menu. I must just point that out as well. So because we have downloaded a Fedora 34 spin, we are getting vanilla XFCE 4.16 here. So that means that the menu by default will come through as the brisk menu, which gives you the application view here. But if you wanted to bring through the whisker menu, then simply just right click on the panel area, go to panel, add new items, and you just then search for whisker, and we'll just add that in, close that down. And now the whisker menu will have gone to the right hand side, which you can see here. So again, if I just right click panel and add new items, no, not add new items, my apologies, panel preferences, and we go into items, you can see the whisker menu is at the very bottom of the list. So to move it up, I will then use these arrows here. So let's click on up until we get to the very start of that list there. There we go. So we've got the whisker menu and the applications menu, or brisk menu as it's also known as. So I'm going to remove the applications menu now. So I'll just highlight applications menu and click remove. And we say remove to that there to confirm that. And you can see now that we have got a whisker menu now appeared in our panel here. So if I click into that now, you can see we're back to the standard XFCE whisker menu, which is fantastic. So up to you whether or not you want to keep the applications view. Most people like to keep the applications view because they just like to follow in the footsteps of Windows 7 onwards, etc. But with XFCE, by default, normally you get the whisker menu. So that's what I tend to do with every new release that I install, and I use the XFCE desktop. So here we are now. We've done that. We've done an update. We have installed a icon set. We haven't installed a theme. Now, I haven't done that just yet because I'm quite happy with the Greybird theme that's come down the line. Most people like to install Arc. You can do that. That's not a problem. I think it's actually installed here by default, but if not, it's just a case of going in to a terminal and doing a sudo DNF, and then after that you can just put arc GTK theme or arc-GTK theme, and that will download that way. Right, so let's take a quick look around the distribution itself. So what are we getting out of the box with Fedora 34? So we are seeing we've got our accessories, and we have got the Catfish file system, which does an index of your hard disk and allows you to search for files, icons, etc, etc. Everything that's installed on the system will be indexed by the Catfish file search. You got your disks, your Calculator. I love how they call it that, Calculator. Password and keys. Now you've got your own password encryption tool built into Fedora 34 here, so you can use that one. I personally use a third-party platform such as Bitwarden, or you've got your LastPass as well. Whichever password manager takes your preference. But under passwords and keys, you can manage your passwords locally within the distribution itself here. You've got your screenshot tool, your Thunar file manager. Now Thunar got updated through the update that we did, so let's now check which version we are on for Thunar. 4.16.5, that got updated today. Look at those icons, don't they look great now? Beautiful, beautiful. Under administration, so here you've got your firewall. Now let's just see, is it turned on by default? Probably not. So let's just do a quick configuration of that there to see what we've got. Enter in my password. Incidentally, you do have to be a super user to be able to change these configurations. Is it on? I don't think it's actually evident. So we're in public. It's not evident it's actually on. But anyway, here you can specify your ports, your open and your closed ports. So do we have SSH there? We've got SMTPS. Spotify sync is there as well. Where are we? No, SSH is not there, but that's fine. But you've got your FTPs, your TFPs, etc, etc. So there you've got the option to be able to open up and close certain ports if need be. So I'm guessing from this that the firewall is on by default. So thank you, Fedora team, if that is the case. What else we got? And of course we've got our print settings as well. Now I've got a wireless printer here. It's not turned on at the moment, so I can't show you me configuring it here. But basically you would go into the printer settings here and set up your wireless printers through there. It should now support, well, pretty much 95% of devices out there now, but if obviously, of course, if you are using an older device like a Brother, etc., then you might go to the manufacturer website to download the drivers from there. And under development, Genie is there, so that's your text editor. So it's a fast and lightweight IDE using the GTK theme, of course. There, you can use that one like you would do if you're using a Raspberry Pi to be able to program out Python and your applications. And documentation, you've got about XFCE, so we did that at the start of the video where we saw we were on 4.16. So I don't know why it's under documentation. Silly place to put it. Anyway, under graphics, you've just got your standard Ristretto image viewer. So notice we've got no GIMP, we've got no glances, ink space, Krita, none of those. You have to come back to the software store and install those yourself. Internet, of course, we've got Firefox as our default web browser, and we've got the Claws mail client. So the Fedora team have chosen Claws over Thunderbird. But again, it's your personal choice. Use Claws or use Thunderbird. The decision is up to you, but they install Claws by default. Multimedia, you get the Asunder CD Ripper. A great tool that is, and I highly recommend that to Linux users that are still today ripping CDs into MP3 format. Yes. CDs? What are those? And of course, you've got the Parole Media Player with Praga. Not sure what Praga is, but it says you can manage and listen to music. So it must be another music player which enables you to, just configure your tagging, etc. And we've got the Pulse Audio Volume Control as well. So I mentioned earlier on that we are using Pipewire now for audio controls within Fedora. I mean, Pipewire basically enables you to configure the Pulse audio drivers and basically jack your audio into various different sources. So we're going to be trying that in the coming weeks, and we'll just look out for that in a future video. And you can see what we're doing in terms of actually junctioning off your audio inputs and outputs to get various sources going where they need to. And of course, you've got XF Burn as well, which enables you to burn DVDs and audio CDs. You can also use that tool there too. If you download an ISO and you want to make a DVD copy of that, then yes, you can use XF Burn to do that. Office, you don't get any Office Suite downloaded by default here, so you will have to go and install that yourself. So there's no LibreOffice, no WPS Office. You'll have to go and source those and download those yourself. Settings, of course, we were touched on appearance already, but you've got tools to change some of the accessibility. Bluetooth, you can configure your Bluetooth devices there. We've got the Kanji, is it Kanji? I'm going to Kanji preferences. I'm not sure what that is anyway. Leave that there. It's obviously a requirement of the distribution. You've got your clipboard manager, color profiles for your monitors. Desktop, of course, we are looking at this desktop here, and if we click into desktop, that won't really give us too much to configure here, but pretty much you can see it's the same window you get if you do a right click on the desktop and you go into desktop settings. So here you've got the desktop wallpaper for Fedora 34. Again, you can configure and add more wallpapers as you go along, or of course, you can configure how menus look and what the size of the icons will be on the main desktop itself. So currently set to 48. You can see here as I'm increasing it up, the icons get bigger. So I'm going to leave it at 60. That should do us nicely. And of course, you get the option to choose what you want to be displayed on the desktop there. Okay, so that's under the desktop settings. What else we got? Default applications. So what we should be seeing with all the various media players, and you can see we've got Mozilla Firefox up as our internet. Utilities, we've got Thuna as our file manager, and we've got the XFCE terminal for our CLI terminal there. And of course, you've got other default applications which you can set up here and customize through the other options here. Now, just pointing out as we are clicking onto the whisker menu, now as I added it, I need to see if the whisker menu will respond to me pressing the super key on the keyboard or the Windows key. Let me do that, and you can see I'm pressing and nothing is happening. But if I do the Control Escape, then I get some sort of menu coming up, but it's not the menu that I want. But note this. We have got the applications menu still available to us on a right click anywhere on the desktop. So that's still quite handy to have if you take away the applications view from the main panel there. So in order to set up a keyboard shortcut so we can get that going again, so let's first click into the whisker menu and we search for keyboard, and we click into keyboard. And you can see you've got the application shortcuts. And it's here we're going to add now. And I'm going to search for XFCE. And if I press enter, what should have happened is I should have got a list of XFCE. Okay, let me just try add again. Okay, so just to point out, and this is a mistake I just made, if you know the command, then you can put it in here straight away. If you don't, you can search for the commands from the defaults that are available to you in the distribution by clicking this icon here, the folder icon, and in this bin here are all of the applets that are available to run keyboard shortcuts from. So I just normally start typing XFCE and I get all of the XFCE applets available to me here. I'm going to select Whisker menu and click open. You can now see that that has put in the actual command from the location where it is on my hard disk. And I'd go and click OK, and now I should get prompted to press a key. So I'm going to press the super key, and note just then quickly it came up with super L, and you can see it here. So basically it's saying your left super key will be the prompt to load up the Whisker menu. That's done now, so I'm going to click close, and now if I press my left super key, I get my Whisker menu appearing. So if at any point, for quickness, if I wanted to just search for terminal, I can go Whisker and go into terminal, and there we go, XFCE terminal, and it loads straight away. Excellent, great. So what else have we got? So there's not really much more to point out. Under system, you've got the standard system configuration, so you can go back to configuring your printers again, select your language, your firewall, your task manager, and your dashboard, etc, etc, etc. Standard settings you can normally get from the desktop as well if you went into applications as well, and you can go under settings, and all of the settings that you see here were those listed under the settings or system here in the main Whisker menu. Okay, so let's look at installing some software. Now you can see here from the desktop in the panel that by default this is a panel which the vanilla XFCE give you of what they label up as panel 2. So by clicking Web Browser, that will go away and quickly find what you have defined as your default web browser. So if that's Firefox, then that will load up Firefox. If it's Brave, Chrome, Edge, for example, then you can go and configure those as your default, and then when you click on that icon, it will load up whatever you've defined as your default web browser. So one thing I'm going to do now is install Microsoft Edge. So what I need to do is come into Firefox, into a new tab, and in my search I am going to do a search for Edge Insider download. And you can see we can download Microsoft Edge Insider channels, so click into that. And straight away it detects that I'm on Fedora, so it gives me the option to download under the dev channel the Fedora OpenSUSE.rpm file. If I was on Ubuntu, Linux Mint, or any kind of Debian based system, then you'd see a different link here that will prompt you to download the deb file as well, which you can see if you look at the list from the drop down. You can see it also gives you the option to download a deb file if you want to do so. And it's good to do if you want to just hop to another machine, quickly get that deb file onto a USB stick, and you can take it to a Debian based machine and install it from that. So that's the reason why they put that there. But by default, you can see because it's detected I'm on Fedora, I just now need to click on download and click accept from the license terms. And what that will do is prompt me, do I want to open it or do I want to save it? So you can see here that by default now it's saying, do you want to open it with the DNF Dragora package installer? So rather than me download and save the file onto the disk and then run it manually, I'm actually going to do what it says and run it under the package installer. And you can see now that Firefox has downloaded it and it is going to load up inside my package manager. We'll just let it do its update and then it will show us where we can install this from. Incidentally, this prompt here is still saying I've got 141 updates to do, so I'm just going to click into that. And that would still bring me into this package manager anyway. So it's saying it's 100%, but we still look like we're waiting for something to load because everything is grayed out at the moment. Right, now it's asking for some authentication, so let me just type in now my password. So hopefully now we're getting ready to run that RPM file. It is. So it's going to now install some dependencies, and it's also going to install Microsoft Edge Dev. So we just OK that. And just to point out that Microsoft are near close now to launching Edge as an approved browser. So no longer will Linux users need to use the dev version of the browser. Not far off now. But on Windows Desktop you can now get version 90. So let's just now see if on the dev branch of the Linux build if you get version 90 also. Now, if I did this in a terminal, it probably wouldn't take as long. But it looks like it's doing it now. But what you can do, if you are semi-familiar with how to install RPM files within Fedora, basically you download the RPM file and you extract it. And when you extract it to somewhere within like the downloads folder on your desktop, you'll notice that it splits out into 2, 3, maybe 4 folders and a few files in the root level. So basically where it is actually downloaded and extracted the structure from is the exact structure that you need to basically copy and paste those files across to your actual hard disk in that area. So for example, you get a USR folder come through. You don't necessarily have to go into that USR folder, but what you can do is you can merge that USR folder with the existing USR folder within the actual distribution build itself. Same goes for the etc file. So the etc folder files, you'll find them there. Again, you don't want to be tinkering with those. You just want to copy them across as is. So you would copy the entire etc folder and merge it with the actual distributions copy of that. And they all go into the user share location, or they go into the .local variant of those folders there. Right, so the package manager looks to have installed Edge now, so I'm just going to minimize this. It obviously confirms we've downloaded it. I'm going to now see if it will appear under our internet options. So if I go to the menu and go under internet, you can see the Edge browser has now installed. Excellent. Now I'm actually enjoying using Edge on Linux. Now one of the reasons for me enjoying it so much is because I use it quite heavily on Windows for the work that I do. I'm seeing a lot of changes happening inside Windows, and I'm quite keen to see if it pulls across to the dev branch or some features within dev that are there before they've actually been made live. So take, for example, most recent update was vertical tabs. So what we should be seeing, I'm just going to ignore that and just say accept and get started. Do I want to create a keyring? I think we probably should, because we need to ensure that that doesn't prompt us every time we want to bring up a password, for example. We just confirm that, yeah, I'm going to go with inspirational. So here we are. The Edge browser is now fully loaded and vertical tabs is now there. So for example, if I bring up another tab and I look at bbc.co.uk, you've got 2 tabs open here in a horizontal view, but if I click vertical, they should now switch to being in vertical format here, as you can see. Quite handy. And what you can do is you can just grab that down and you can make it look like they're just buttons if you wanted to. It's all good. So there we go, that's vertical. So that's how I know I'm on the latest version of the browser. So let's go in and check that now. So we go under help and about, we know the Windows desktop version is on 90, and you can see here the dev branch is on version 91, which is the official dev build. So you are one step ahead of Windows users, which is great. So I always like to use this occasional to see if my websites and my applications work fine in the Edge browser. And also the fact that I'm on Linux as well, making sure that everything can run smoothly on Linux there as well. So let's close that tab down. Let's switch back to normal view and just quickly see if we can change the settings. What have we got? So we should be able to synchronize now as well. Yep, because you can do that. You can pull through your browser data, which is great. So synchronization is now fully up and supported here within the dev branch. Appearance, and what we see, we're on a GTK theme at the moment. So if that's the standard Fedora look and feel, but if you click onto dark, you can now see that you've got the Edge dark theme of that. I'm on Fedora, and I do like Fedora's sort of cool slate look. So let me just do a cool slate. Yeah, that's nice. I like that. Fantastic. I do like a bit of spicy red as well, but that's a bit OTT if you ask me. But you can download more themes if you want to as well. But we'll keep it a cool slate for now, which is what I like. Anyway, so that's Edge now downloaded and installed. So what else could I look out for within Fedora 34? Well, not anything visually, but from what I hear, what's going on behind the scenes as well, there's quite a bit going on. But I'm not going to detail that here in this video, because this was a live walkthrough of how XFCE 4.16 looks like in the latest Fedora 4.16 release. So if you want to know a little more detail about what's going on behind the scenes and how BTRFS is configured, etc., then do take a look at the Fedora website. The release notes are there. I will hyperlink to those as well in the description, where you can see that there. Yeah, there you can obviously go and click through and read up more about what's in this latest release here. So this has been Fedora 34 on XFCE 4.16. I think looks absolutely fantastic. I'm going to have a little play around with it now and see what else is lurking in the back that maybe I've missed and not brought to your attention here today. If I have, then I'll obviously be tweeting those notes out on my Twitter feed, of course, there. But don't forget, you can follow my walkthroughs on my website over there at digitalrobin.net. Also keep up to date with some handy hints and tips there as well. You follow me on Twitter at RobinJust, and of course I'm over there as regular contributors to the Big Daddy Linux live podcast, of course, there, which is a weekly hosted event for the Linux community, which happens every Saturday there. So look out for that on YouTube and Libre. Okay, so thank you very much for joining me here today. Have yourselves a brilliant rest of the day, and like I say, if you've got any questions, then do by all means post them in the comments below. Otherwise, have yourselves a brilliant day, and I will catch you again in a future walkthrough.